Few additional thoughts about the readings from the book of Revelation of John. This Sunday in Los Angeles, we've heard in the Act of Consecration, chapter 4. The author of the book of Revelation is being taken into the spiritual world. The door is wide open to his seeing soul, and there in the center where he's led, he sees a throne, and there follows a description of the one who's seated upon the throne. The pictures of gemstones are given: jasper, carnelian, emerald. Around the one who's sitting on the throne, there's 24 additional thrones and 24 elders, each wearing a golden crown. In the form of a liturgy, are repeating certain movements. Between the 24 elders and the throne, there are 4 living creatures, each with wings and eyes on the inside and on the outside. First looks like a lion, the other like a calf, the third has a face like that of a human being, and the fourth living creature is like the eagle in flight. There is a liturgy in heaven, and John the seer, John of Patmos, is witnessing it. Something really draws his attention, namely in the midst, near the throne, in the midst of all these events, he perceives a lamb who appears as if he was slaughtered. And the one sitting on the throne is holding in his hand a scroll sealed with 7 seals. No one, so we hear, in heaven, on earth, and in the underworld is worthy to take the scroll and open the seals, which would precipitate the future evolution, except for the Lamb. And he's worthy to take the scroll and break the seals because he shed his blood. This account follows the 7 letters to the 7 churches and really opens all events following in the book of the Revelation of John. John was 100 years old, or nearly 100, when he was sent to Patmos, where in seclusion, in loneliness, he has spiritual perceptions, but also brings them down in the written form. How does John achieves, or how does he receives this vision? John, who, as we know, is Lazarus, the same who wrote the letters of John and the author of the Gospel, he himself was initiated by Christ Jesus during the 3 years of Christ walking and working, living on earth among human beings. Chapter 10 of the Gospel of John speaks about the raising of Lazarus, which we know is the account of initiation, the first Christian initiation. And in case of Lazarus-John, it's Christ himself who initiates, brings him back to the higher life. And just like in the ancient Egyptian initiations, the Mystai, in the course of 3 days, his ether body, in fact, would be lifted up somewhat, and the impressions of the spiritual world would be imprinted in the ether body, in the life body of this initiate, who would then later wake up from the temple sleep and really become the messenger of this world of spirit among the living. So also John Lazarus goes through this initiation, and what is different in Lazarus' initiation is that he is the first one who realizes through his initiation that Christ is no longer present in the spiritual world, that the Spirit of God who through aeons, through millennia, was descending and approaching the human being, essentially incarnated, and was at the time of Lazarus' initiation present in man, in a human being, in Jesus of Nazareth. The question here may be asked, did John truly understand that right away? And there are certain indications in the Gospel of John that actually suggests that it not necessarily is the full picture of things. To understand, to comprehend such incredible cosmic truth, one needs to live a long time and really process it. Just an example of that is when in chapter 20, when John and Peter arrive at the grave, the Gospel of John says that only when John entered the grave and saw the napkin on one side and the bandages on the other, he only then realized that Christ has risen. So this indication can lead us towards that thought that it took him decades of inner and outer work to really unwrap, so to speak, to open up those impressions that were imprinted on his ether body in the event of his initiation in Bethany. It is as if he had to really learn how to act out of that knowledge among the people. Through the decades of his life, we know that he lived in Ephesus with Mary, the mother of Jesus, and acted out, so to speak, so that from the subconscious or intellectual type of knowledge, this became something that is active in his will. And only at an old age, he is able to arrive at the point in his spiritual development that the great veil that separates our world from the world of apocalypse, the world of spiritual world, is lifted up for him. And only then this wealth of knowledge, wealth of pictures, wealth of imaginations, inspirations, intuitions opens up from the depths of his, John Lazarus' soul, into not even full consciousness but higher consciousness. So in the language of pictures, he is writing them for the entire humanity of our times and future times.